Greetings and welcome back. My name is Tobal. So, year 16, actually about to be year 17 it looks like. What do we have going on? Let's slow things down just a bit. So I just noticed that I neglected to pay attention to some of my shore houses in a while. So we've got 3 shore houses now. Well, this one was actually set to sand, and I think I want to bump it up to clay a bit more. Also, it was set to 1 of 1 here. So we wound up getting, added a couple more just so we could have a few more workers. I think I'm actually going to have them working on the clay because of our our bottleneck situation. So our big situation, our big requirement right now is to pump out building supplies, because we need building supplies for all of these fancy colonial half homes that we want to build. Obviously, the Colonial Homestead needs 2 fancy homewares rather, which we don't quite have yet. We could start moving into that soonish, but we need pewterware and silverware, which we've only just started to make. So as you can see here, we're limited, a little bit limited. How do we make pewter again? Is that over at this thing here? Yeah, okay. So we're getting pewter from the forge, which is tin and copper, more tin than copper, and then into furnace fuel. So it's making pewterware, pewter. Then it's going over here to make pewterware. 1 unit of pewterware gets turned into eventually, once we actually choose it, right here, the pewterware and silverware for the fancy homework. So obviously, as you're seeing here, there's quite a bit of requirements we need to meet before we're really going to get these nice colonial half homes really pumping out, especially the bigger homesteads too. Those are the ones that need the fancy ones, but right now the bottleneck is our building supplier. We are using this combo: glass, lumber, and iron. So glass we've got aplenty, it seems like. We've got a decent amount of iron, and surprisingly lumber is our problem child. So I did go ahead and bump up our log production. We were actually at our limit of 500, so I bumped this up to about 1,000. I think one of the problems is some of the lumber is spread out in town. Like, we've got different storage areas. So right here, for example, there's a ton of logs just hanging out in this particular storage area, when really it'd be great if they were put into this one right next to the actual sawmill. So we're working on it. The sawmills are probably going across the road or across the grassway here to grab a log and haul it back. So that's where we're at in terms of our overall goals. We do have quite a few people passing along, but also getting new folks coming into town as well. So the other things I want to think about, and also thank you so much for the comments. A couple folks pointed out that one thing to keep in mind when we start to allow migrants and nomads to come into our city, they may be carrying diseases with them. In fact, that might have been part of why we had an outbreak in the last game. So that's something to keep in mind. We don't necessarily always want to accept all migrants, but right now we're still in the, I would say, I mean, we're not, it's not really early game anymore. We're pretty well established, but if you look at some of the things we have or we're really lacking farm animals that we've never been able to actually grab a pasture of anything, which is kind of unfortunate. We do have a good amount of wool coming in the form of our wool pens. That was thanks to our shepherd, who's over here somewhere, probably still working out in the world. What else is going on? We've got a bunch of mines in place. Really, again, like always, it's the battle between the workers and getting laborers all set to go. We've got 12 students in-house, which is nice. So those are going to come into laborer jobs at some point, hopefully soon. We just popped into year 17, the spring. Let's take a look at some of these graphs. What can we learn? We're good on clothing. That's where clothing picked up. I think after we switched to wool, so it's back over 100 again. What about food? We're still doing really good on food. We're capping out at 5,000, right where we want to be. Yeah, nothing too surprising here. I bet iron's going to be a little bit lower. Yeah, we're actually almost out of iron. So we're going to have to start sending people to specifically mine iron instead of coal. Or did we open up a second mine? We did. Okay, so I forgot that I opened up a second iron mine right next door. We're actually at our cap, though, for minerals, so let's bump this up by quite a bit. I'm actually going to put this to 5,000. I want these folks working a lot. We don't want to stop on any of our raw ores. Maybe that was my own fault for missing some of the production chain. Let's also switch this down to 2 laborers, 1 builder, since we just lost a couple folks in a row, and they're starting to pull from the laborer pool. Is there any other thing we can make? We could make silver, but I don't really, or silverware, but we don't have, as far as I know, we don't have too much silver ore. Yeah, we've only got a little bit because the precious mine is not really working. No one's really active on that one yet because I think we actually turned it off, right? Yeah, we disabled that mine because we're trying to focus on pumping out some of this pewterware, silverware stuff Although, honestly, I don't know how fast we can turn that stuff around. 5 pewterware is all we have. Maybe, do you get 5 per every time? Man, is it really 1 pewterware per 10 pewter? That's crazy. What a crazy turnover. I guess we'll just let it happen for a bit. Maybe the thing to do in the next couple episodes is to just speed things up, wait a couple of years for things to pass, and go from there. Still super short on lumber. What is going on? Let's go ahead and raise up the construction limit to about 5,000 as well, so that we don't hit any kind of a maximum. Fuel limit, we'll put this up at 2,000. Now you're making firewood out of logs. You should be making... Oh, crap. So that's probably why we don't have any lumber, because I stopped making lumber at some point a while ago. I don't know how long I've set that. Yeah, I wonder how many other crazy buildings are all sorts of screwed up because I've changed something and forgotten about it. We have a lot of buildings that we've just not looked at in a hot minute. This is still furniture and pottery, which I think we're cranking out at a pretty good rate. If not, we'll be getting it out pretty soon. Excuse me, because we just did increase the amount of clay we're gathering. I did go ahead and set a requirement for about 100 pottery to be delivered to the trading post, because I wanted to see if that's going to be something valuable that we can use to trade with the ships that pass by. So it's a thought. We'll see if that comes into play or not. Alright, I guess we could speed things back up again. There's not a whole lot to do. It's just we're short on people, we're short on, you know, materials. We're not like hurting for food or anything. We're at a good spot in that regard. I just love this idea of this internal downtown city thing, but boy, I think it's going to be a lot harder to make than not. Wow, that's a lot of furnace fuel. Holy cow. Who's making the furnace fuel? You know what? Do we need 1,000 really? Did I set that to that high probably? Yeah, I imagine I did. How much firewood do we have? Over 1,000 firewood too. Well, if it's working out and they're making furnace fuel out of firewood and we're not really short on either, I guess it's where we want to be. The only other things that I probably want to do is to increase the amount of miners we have. That's really going to be the next big thing, because the more miners we have, the more, you know, pewter or silverware or whatever we get, which then goes into the building supplier, etc., etc. Oh, finally we caught up a bit on lumber. There's our first big delivery from the sawmill. All right, let's check out what this person has for us. They've got bison steak and a ton. This is just a food merchant. Sadly, we don't really need any food at this point. Honestly, though, so what is this? It's 1 pottery is worth 25 as the value exchange. That's not too bad. I might lower this down to about maybe 20 for the first little bit, since we do need pottery for other items. Yeah, we really could increase the amount of people working at some of these shops. I think that's also part of the issue, is that we do have a lot of people working kind of the bare minimum sometimes in some jobs, like 1 out of 4 or something like that. We also finished our hardwood forester. Oh, not yet. Okay, it's almost built. Sorry. Our hardwood forester. Why did we want hardwood? I think we wanted hardwood because we were going to move to fancy... Oop, no, stop that. Weren't we going to move to... Yeah, fancy furniture is going to be a requirement for fancy homewares. So we need fancy furniture for that. So we were eventually going to move to to using fancy furniture for the homeware supplier. What about furniture in general? We have 35 units of furniture. Oh wow, a crap ton more in this small barn. Wow, this small barn is full. That's kind of nuts, honestly. I don't know. I guess that's not as fancy as I thought. I guess we could up... We had a bunch of more people die. We could up how many people are working at the central market. Maybe the centralized idea is definitely not the way to go. Maybe decentralized is the way to do it. Sorry, folks, I got a bug in my throat tonight. Can't seem to shake it. How's our little cemetery? It bugs me so bad that this is off-center. Like, you'll see it eventually when I start to play Dwarf Fortress. I am mildly obsessive about my getting, you know, X amount from... Because you can tell here, 21 is at 21 out from the dead center of the town. It makes me happy inside, you know? And if we had a perfect square here, oh, I would just be the happiest camper in the world. But alas, it might not be my thing. We'll see, we'll see. I guess we could try to put down a couple more wooden houses at this point on the Outer Rim. What, the Outer Rim, is it like Star Wars? Can we put down, what does a country house need? This requires, I think that's the fancy Homeware's symbol. Yeah. If you saw that in the tooltip there, it looks like it needs 2 building materials and 1 fancy Homewares. We could do a country house, or just stone homes. Do stone homes do a lot more? We need a lot of stone, which we don't really have a ton of. We also are completely out of iron, which is starting to be a problem. I could have some people pull off from other areas. It's just that the main issue right now is we're so short everywhere. I guess we could pull people off food. We've got 1 worker in each of the farms. We could pull someone. Why don't we pull a couple people off the fishing dock? Also, you want to be really careful if you're trying to kind of pull workers out of, say, the food industry and put them somewhere else. You really do want to be careful because you want to avoid accidentally pulling too many too quick. Because you won't see that effect for quite a while. So you'll be sitting here after you move your people out to a different job, and all of a sudden you'll say, well, why is my food crashing? What is my, why is my food stockpile just nosediving? Well, it's because, a year ago, you pulled some food workers out of their job. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like navigating a boat. You have to make a change and then let inertia take effect. You have to wait for it to make a change. So you won't really see that change for a while. We could put a couple more folks. In fact, I think I do want to increase the amount of folks working in the iron mine, specifically. 1 more person has died. We'll have this last person go over as a builder, and when they're not building, they'll go do labor work. Yeah, really need some of these kids to start popping out. How many families do we have with like full up? Yeah, a couple here and there. We could wind up doing a few more houses maybe down in this corner as well. You know what, since we can't use this bakery, and it's interrupting my perfect line of houses here, I'm going to trash it. And maybe we'll continue to expand some of the housing out that way. We don't really have anything going this direction, but I don't think we need to, per se. There's not really any industries over here that require someone to work at it. Let's see. Yeah, obviously we're out of iron. We got that part. God, there's so many things that you can do a chart for here. Do we even have luxuries? No, we don't have luxuries. We don't make luxuries here. Get out of here. I like our trade items. A pear. We can trade pears and freaking turnips. We are a wonderful and varied culture. I would murder for a seed right now. I really would. Oh, you know what? Hang on a minute. Can't I bring these gold guilders over here? I forgot all about the gold guilders. I thought they count for quite a bit of value, don't they? I don't know, how have we been getting gold guilders in the first place? Do we get those randomly from capturing an animal or something? Or is someone coming from off-map to trade with us? I honestly have no idea. What are we short of? Iron, of course. Well, the problem is everyone's going to be short of iron, right? Aren't we? We've got... Let's see, you're making bricks. Where are we on our brickworks these days? I haven't checked the brick stockpile in a while. 24 bricks here. The big problem is I don't know where to look anymore for half of my items, because, we wound up with the idea that, hey, central markets are cool, except they don't quite seem to work as well as we were hoping. And I do like the decentralized approach in terms of the storage. Like, the storage is close to where the people work at. Although why venison cuts are making their way into this storage box, I'm not really entirely sure. Are there any more bricks hanging in other places? So we only have 24 bricks completely? That's crazy. How long has this been going on and we just only have 24? Maybe it's some of the mod, or maybe it's just my perception, but it almost seems like we're just not making, like, barely anything. And in theory, we should be doing a little bit better of a job. Now, yeah, to be fair, a lot of the clay, I bet, is getting pulled up by the potter. We got 20 clay here, 10 clay there, so not a whole lot of clay to be had in the first place. Maybe that's affecting how far the glassworks person has to go. Sorry, the brickworks has to go. I always like looking at everyone else's ideas. Oh wow, triplets! Holy crap! Well, pretty close together. But everyone else has a lot of different ideas about how they should set up their city, and it's always nice and fun to see how someone else approaches their building. Their style of their city. And this is obviously a much more centralized approach, but it might be too future long-term vision and a whole lot less of the near term. That could be a problem for sure. So that's one of those things that you just kind of have to mess with, try a couple times. That's why I've got so many hours in Banished from just restarting half the time, because I'm like, oh, well, what if we try out this new idea? Maybe we could have tried, a much more decentralized approach by having living quarters and food over, in this area by the hill. We could have gone over here and done something completely different. So there's lots of different ideas to the game, but that's just what's so much fun about it, I think, is that there's no real one way to play. There's a lot of... I like the flexibility of it. It's a lot of fun. How's our hardwood production doing? Hardwood Forester has 1 out of 4. Are we starting to get some of that sweet, sweet hardwood in? I don't think anyone's using hardwood at this point, so it'd be hard to see it being used. God, this building supplier is so incredibly slow. I don't know, I was going to say outlandishly slow. Doesn't quite fit. What about homewares? Are we doing better with... wait, what do we need? Oh, we needed pewterware. Where are we at with pewterware these days? We're still at 5 pewterware. See, I just don't... Unless they're not storing it. Oh, shit. We have a ton. Okay. We have a ton of pewterware hanging around. Can we go ahead and start doing fancy homewares? Let's try it out. Let's do fancy furniture and pewterware. I'm going to switch over the joiner to do fancy furniture for a bit. Now, that's going to take some time because they're going to have to get their first couple of shipments of hardwood in, I believe, before they do too much. Maybe we'll be able to pop out one of these cool little Colonial Homestead types of buildings. I do like how cute these are, though. Like, it's adorable to me. Alright. I'm going to speed things up for a bit, and you can just hang out with me for a little while, and we'll just fast forward maybe another year or something like that, and just come back once a lot more things have been built. Well, it is as I feared just a bit. We are starting to get a couple deaths that are getting really close to the limit of our available workers. So we didn't actually have someone to replace one of the laborers, but they just wound up popping up right after the message. But we had a bunch of students just come in at the same time, so I started to build another schoolhouse right next to the existing one. So I think what I'll do is put a couple schools. What would be kind of cool is if we just had a road back in this corner with just schools coming off of it. I think that'd be kind of neat. But yeah, either way, we got another schoolhouse coming out, hopefully to take that influx of new students, new children coming through. I'm not seeing a lot of production from our hardwood. Now, you know what? I just realized that we probably don't have any hardwood trees ready to go. Now, I don't know if I can identify them. I don't honestly know between hardwood and softwood or normal wood or whatever it happens to be. Isn't it like oak? I don't know. I've played a lot of Minecraft, right? I think I would know some of this. And also, Life is Feudal has a hardwood and softwood differentiation to it. So I should probably pay more attention in Feudal class. Let's actually switch back to doing... We have a ton of pewterware, but let's go ahead and go back to making normal old homewares for a bit. Is that still needed? Not really, honestly. We actually have homewares up the wazoo. Wait, where are all of our homewares going? There's one there. Is it just kind of hanging out right there on its own little spot? Yeah, it seems to be. So we've got one spare homewares right now. I guess it doesn't hurt anything to keep it going. God, we're just so short on iron. Who else is using iron? I think I got distracted by the brick worker last time. So our glassworks is using sand and fuel. You are using tin, copper, and furnace. Now you, for our tools, you're using iron for tools. That might be some of the issue. How are we on tools? We're like, it's almost like a constant battle. So we're going to have to get enough iron to get to both supply the city blacksmith and to... You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. To give ourselves a bit of a breathing room, let's set the tool limit to 50. And that way they should cap here in just a second. Or is it going to be considered a dry wood? Is it considered a dry? No, there it went. Okay, so it's capped now. So some of the iron should be going through on to the next couple of locations. Let's go ahead and add a couple more folks to this iron mine. And I will cut down how many people are working on the coal mine. We've got 2 out of 5 working on the tin mine. And copper mine is at 1 out of 5. Let's increase that to 2. So 2 at each of these. 2 at the coal, and then we'll have a couple folks pumping through at the iron mine. We really want to just pump up this iron production to get over our current issue of not having too much. So we'll get that going. We could probably... What else can help us here? We've got tons of glass. Glass is not a problem. You know, one day I might wind up relocating a lot of these buildings as well. I hadn't really thought about that too much. We could, honestly, tie in down here. We could kill this orchard, for example. We could set the food off to the side, like almost in this area. I know it's right next to the nice, the forge and all of its nastiness. Or we could just say give up on either or. Give up on the fishing, or just go, oh wow, the stonecutter was crushed by a rock. Rip. Sorry about that, Kivante. Let's see, what does this trader have for us? By the way, gold gilder is apparently worth only 10. Kind of a bummer. More food, more food, more food. Okay, so no for you. We just need seeds, man. Oh, you know what I should start looking at? I keep forgetting. It's like Dwarf Fortress. When you've got someone who comes to visit you, a liaison, you can actually request items to be sent the next time around. So we should probably pay attention to that a little bit in the future. All right, what else do I have here? We've got a ton of everything, a ton of coal. All right, let's do this then. We've got a bunch of coal. Let's reduce the amount of people working in the coal mill. Coal mine. Did everyone just die off? Where'd they all go? We've got 5 working here. Let's bring this down to 2. This is at 2. This is at 1. Are there too many people working here? Math is hard. 5, 6. Silver 10. Wait a minute. I am completely losing my mind. We have tons of iron. We don't have anything processing iron into iron ore. Holy cow, how did I miss that for 1,000 years? Well, there's your problem right there. You don't got anyone doing the iron into iron ore. Alright, let's go ahead and let's set the forge guy up onto iron for a bit. That should clear up our problem. Wow. Yeah, I don't know why I thought iron just came out nice, perfectly smelted. I'm sure some folks were sitting there yelling at me like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but iron needs to be, brought down to another... resource. Also, there's a ton of bricks too. I'm missing everything right now. What can we do here? We don't have iron. Can we do something in place of iron like bricks? Bricks, glass, and iron. Do we still have joists around these days? Bricks, joist, and logs. So, like, we have tons of glass. We don't have too much stone, do we? We have 115 stone. We could do glass, bricks, and logs as well. We've got a ton of logs. Let's do that for a bit. Let's switch over to glass, brick, and log. So it seems like maybe the building supplier is one of those buildings that you just kind of have to micromanage just a bit. I do like this this little alleyway here. I think it's going to be kind of neat. Do we have any like decorations we could put as like a 1 square decoration? Like a little tiny hedgerow or a flower bed. Oh my god, that's so adorable. Oh, yes. Okay. We're going to do a little flower bed here. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Oh, perfect, perfect. All right. Do we have it like this? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so we're going to have some flower beds here. We're going to have a gazebo, and then we're going to put down this beautiful fountain in the back. I love it. All right. Let's put down a road as well. What did I make this road? This is a what? Gravel? Is this the same kind of material? I have no idea. Looks like it. And then now that we know we can have awesome, beautiful looking decorations here, let's go back to that. What is this, a hedgerow? Garden beds fully customizable. Well, hell yeah. I know I want a fully customizable garden bed edge. This goes up against the building. I don't know how it's going to look, actually. Let's go back to the garden bed. I'm a huge fan. Big fan of garden beds. Flower bed, straight, perfect. All right, cool. So again, we're just trying to get that inner corner, I don't know, just because there was a bit of a gap there, we're just trying to spruce it up a bit. Maybe down the road I'll do a little bit more designing just for fun to make this downtown area look really nice. And we could also straighten things out. We could have I mean, shoot, we could have, you know, completely kill off one of these roads so that we've got more natural feel to it, like a back alley between buildings and things like that. We can experiment with a bunch of stuff. We are finally getting... How's this look? Looks like barrenness. Okay, it's not built yet. That's fair. All right, we got the right road at least, so that's a step in the right direction. You're already out of something. Well, crap. What do we change to? Bricks and glass and logs. Do you not have any logs? I thought we have a massive pile of logs somewhere. Where have all... Oh, crap, we're out of logs. How are we out of logs now? Alright, what do we need? We want glass, iron, joist and stone, and 12 bricks. Didn't we have a couple of joists lying around? In the joistery? Is that a thing? 9 joists. Is it 1 joist each? That's not bad. That's going to be 9 building supplies with all the joisting going on. We may want to think about redesigning a little bit of our industry area here. Like in terms of maybe putting the iron mine over here and then moving a couple of forges right up against all the iron mines. That would make a little more sense. Less, you know, it's not too far to travel. But again, it's right there. Someone's going, all they're doing is, you know, I bring my raw iron here, and then the person in the forge goes to get that raw iron. So it's a lot less time to travel. Are we doing any better with our iron situation now that I've figured out how to work life? Got a ton of iron ore here, so they're going to be pumping through that pretty well. I think we're managing to stay on top of the population issue, right? Let's take a look at our long-term population growth for a bit. Have we been dying off at all? Not really. We're slowly but steadily, even as people are dying, we are replacing them with more of the population. So I think we've got a nice balance. We just have to make sure we continue to, you know, expand and add more families in. The people at the building supply are probably like, oh my god, if they ask me for one more freaking change, I'm going to lose my mind. I also wonder if the hardwood forester has to wait for the hardwoods to get, you know, because you think they're able to do it, right? They're able to plant. Do we have to clear... Oh, you know what we might have to do is clear some space for them to work in the first place. Let's go ahead and do a let's clear everything kind of an order right around here. Give them a nice chunk. Crap. We're out of hunters. We actually are now getting into the part where we don't have enough people for the jobs required, which is not great. We do have a ton of students, though. I'm really excited about the students. What is this? Country school, farmers college. Wait a minute. I didn't ever see these kinds of buildings. Are they hidden in the upgrade? Wait, do more buildings have these types of things here? A farmer's college. This is so cool. 55 lumber and 2 building supplies. That's not a lot. I want it. I want it right now. Okay, we're going to do it mostly because we don't have that many students in here yet. Man, people are dying off left and right. Stop it, you guys. We really need you to live a little bit longer. Hey, we finally have one of our colonial half houses finished. In fact, let's go ahead and put one person into the builder role. Nice. We're still waiting on 1 building supply for here. It looks like it's not complaining about no inventory, so I'm guessing the people are actually going to get the joist and the stone. Hey, look, there they are. Wonderful. I just wonder if I can be more efficient. You know what I mean? That's one of my thoughts and my worries is that I still like the idea of having a center downtown. That's still fun to me. But in terms of, you know, just getting the production down, I wonder if do we have any excess workers we can clear up? What's our wool status like? How much wool do we have these days? Looking at you, woolers, wool harvesters. I don't know what that is. 79 wool in the inventory. Of course, I have like 3 separate areas for storage. Okay, we have a ton of wool. All right, you're fired. Congratulations, you're fired. Stop working at this building. That's going to free up a worker. Our food situation is still super solid. Let's go ahead and actually kill off the orchard. Yeah, you know what? Let's not. I really worry about food. I really don't want to pull something off food, and then next year, all of a sudden, we're down to like 0 food. 1 person's at the forge. Can we kill any of these buildings right now? Again, whenever someone stops doing what they're doing, they do turn into a laborer, I believe. Cool, we got one of our houses up. It just popped, and it's complaining about firewood, but that's okay. They'll go get firewood in a minute. Shoot, we're out of firewood now again, too. Man, everything's not great. Finally, a couple more graduates. What can we do here? In fact, let's do this. Let's put the industrial fuel limit down to 500, just to start preserving some of our firewood. Or alternatively, we can switch to coal. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's start making furnace fuel out of coal, since we have a ton of coal right now. We're nowhere near the concern about that. We're going to have another building done here in a minute. One of the corner buildings. Can I put little decorations at an angle here by chance? Probably not, can I? That would be too cool. Not quite. It always has to be in a square. I still think the corner buildings look really nice. We'll see. I mean, this is supposed to be, you know, it was supposed to be kind of all flush, and it makes a little more sense if it's an outer-facing corner building. So I might just kill this. Didn't we have an idea about a gazebo back in the day? I thought we did. The gazebo, a level unknown gazebo. If you all aren't familiar with that and you're D&D fans, you should look up the story of D&D and the gazebo. It's an awesome story. It is a cult D&D classic. I highly encourage you to learn about rabid gazebos. Alright, so hopefully these folks are going to be... Oh yeah, they've already started chopping down some stuff here. So, I don't know, I guess our hardwood forester is going to do their thing eventually. Do we see any new hardwood type of saplings going in here? I think maybe part of the problem is there's just too many trees in this area. That might be the case. Oh well, we'll find out in a bit. What else can we start looking towards? I could start reducing the amount of central market folks. I mean, it doesn't seem to be working as well as I was hoping anyways. Although, that barn is starting to get pulled out a little bit more. I always like the idea of having 2 central markets, though. That was something we talked about at some point as well. Just dropping down... oh, hey! An Old Town Trading Post. This is cute. Is this a, Is this on the water? I can't even tell. Is it? Oh, okay. It's just another type of trading post, it looks like. We could do... What are all these? Industrial suppliers. They're all water-based. Okay. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever really looked into the smuggler's dock at all. We almost have enough guilders for that, I think. We don't have a native population as far as I know either. So, market-wise, we could do... Let's see, we've got a smaller market here. Now, this is, I believe, the circle someone said is the range where people will come to that market. So, if your residence is within the circle, that you'll go to this type of market to get your goods. So, the gathering spot, like where they'll go out to get something, though, is different from what I understand. This would be kind of cool to have different types of markets. Like a... Let's see, what is this? This is food, tools, and clothing. This is food only. It would be cool if the edibles market took over anything food related. Old Town Market would be kind of cool to have in here as well. This is pretty big. It's got a really huge radius, just about, probably about the same size as the Central Market here. Yeah. I almost wish that you could have specialized market buildings just for certain types of things. That way you could at least take, you know, at a glance you knew exactly what you're looking for. Rural market's kind of cool. It's actually really big. Why don't we put down this fancy looking Old Town Market? It's got a pretty big radius. Let's just drop it in here for fun. I do like messing around with some of the look of the different buildings down here in the downtown area. In our downtown, New Tynemouth. That's a real happening place, you guys. You're not living if you're not living in New Tynemouth. Hey, we did manage to get a bunch of our colonial houses up. This can get turned into a seamstress. Well, that's kind of cool. I hate how this looks, by the way. I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea. I don't know why at all I thought that would be a good idea. Well, now I'm torn. I could nuke this house, pull it in closer, and then make this row just one narrower. Do you know what I mean? Like, basically rebuild this house, but have the door facing out. Alternatively, and what I kind of like the idea of is maybe just putting a little gazebo there, or maybe doing a corner market. But we'll worry about that a little bit later. I do love these adorable little flower beds too. I almost wish I would have given them more space. It does look very back alley-ish behind the houses though. Alright, let's add a couple of more of these half homes here and there. I think we're starting to finally get up a little bit on the building supplies world. I think I'm just gonna put in colonial townhomes here. Not any kind of particular way. Just townhomes. We'll drop 4 down on this end. Hopefully we can keep pumping these out as people are croaking left and right. And it looks like our building supplier is doing really good with the amount of joists we had. So that's a good sign. We're still obviously super short on hardwood. That's going to be a big problem as we try to move into doing these fancier homewares. Are you in better... You know what? I completely forgot we have so much iron. We don't need to have all these people in the iron mine. So we've got... let's increase this up a bit. Can we do that? 2. Let's do 2. Alright, 2, 2, 2. Perfect. That's kind of where I want to be at. Alright, we've got 2 workers in pretty much each of the mines here. Although, honestly, we could cut back on 1-to-1 on coal and iron. We have a ton of coal and iron. Not so much on copper and tin, right? Because we are getting quite a bit of tin used for the used in the tin pewterware stuff, right? Not being used at the moment, but it is what it is. We could wind up doing another forge at some point. In fact, while we've got a lull here, let's go ahead and do this. Let's kill this iron mine. I'm going to go ahead and put in another iron mine right next to it. I hope that can get reclaimed. I hope that doesn't destroy the earth. Let's do iron, 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 stone and salt, iron ore. Perfect. Let's do iron ore right about here. And what I'm going to do is actually put another forge in here. And I might even move that forge down as well at some point. Because again, we are using stuff that's pretty much all gathered up right here. So it makes sense to put the forges right next to where your output is. So we'll look at doing that. We'll look at relocating some of those items. Oh, hey, we got a bunch of people who just came out of school, which is great. And we've got them already replaced. We were at like 16 students. A bunch of them graduated, and we're already back up to 16. So that's a good sign. By the way, I did put down 2 gazebos here for fun. We need bronze, so we're going to have to look at... is it a separate building? Or can we do copper or bronze kind of a thing? Wait a minute, can you smelt it right there on the spot? Are you serious? Okay. That's only for the super fancy ones. Well, that's still kind of cool. That actually would mean we don't have to worry about... Let's do this. If we're turning it right into copper on the spot, we don't have to use the forge, and that way we can still make tin and copper and have it turned into pewter. No, we don't. Crap. We still have to produce it into pewter from... Yeah. Wait a minute, how long have I been screwing that up and not making tin? Boy, who even knows? Oh, no, pewter needs ores. Okay, so we don't actually want to turn these into the finished item. Okay, fair enough. Let's go ahead and put these back the way we were. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, so we'll move this over. We'll move the forge down a little bit. We'll try to clean up some of these areas. I'll start thinking about how to make everything a little bit more efficient for us. What are you planting for hardwood? Are these hardwood items or no? Mr. or Mrs. Hardwood Forester, who shall not be named. Where are your hardwood items? I'm guessing some of these have to be hardwood. I haven't seen a single hardwood log drop down yet. So I'm guessing they're mysterious and they just need time to grow. I really want some of these fancy homesteads down. Looking forward to it. We will have to figure out what we want to do with this corner, though. I'm thinking of maybe at this point even putting in... Like, I wouldn't mind even having a side entrance here. I think I'm going to keep this cool little spot. And maybe what we'll do is just add in a fountain in the corner. We'll do this once we get these folks evicted. We'll kick them out of their lovely home. Let's go ahead and drop down a couple more houses as well. What are we low on? Sorry, stone and logs? Yeah, we kind of know that, although stone is a thing we've not looked at in a while. There's a ton of stone just lying around. Honestly, we have so many people not doing anything. Let's go ahead and do a iron and stone pickup here. It's got them going out a little bit far. But that should, with the amount of laborers that we have, that should help solve the problem. Oh, hey. What do you do? Oh, hey, no, don't leave. Don't go anywhere. You've got seeds. Hey there, buddy. God, 3,500 for seed? How the hell do we even compete with this? We've got 20 items here. I mean, I guess that's more doable with pottery. What else? What other kinds of things can we trade now? I've not looked at what do we make for valuables. Could we keep furniture here? Could we keep things like joists and things like that as well? I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's try to get... Oh, I don't know. We can do pewterware. Let's do about... yeah, let's do 20 pewterware. That might cut into some of our pewterware inventory, but that's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice the pewterware. Let's drop the iron tools, the hide coats. They aren't really doing a whole lot for us here. Gold gilders also are not worth anything, apparently, even though they're gold. That's fine. Let's grab a stockpile of 20 furniture. I don't know what else we could probably use. Building supplies, maybe, but we're so short on building supplies these days that I don't really want to muck about with that particular inventory. We could try some of our wool coats. I don't know if they're going to be a little more valuable. It would be nice to see what something's worth from here rather than waiting for it to get dragged over. Silver ore, I don't really think we've got too much other than pottery, pewterware, things like that. I don't think we're going to be able to afford what he wants right now, what he's selling. But it is good to know what things cost. Also, can we do... Hey, just once. Custom order from Dillis. I mean, I would love a bison or deer or something. Can I just ask you for a bison? Like, hi, please bring a bison next time. Can I just get some standard old wheat seeds? Because we'd love to make some, do some bakery stuff with that. Wheat, maybe some corn as well. That would be nice. Did I just do this if I set it to just once? Wow, we've had someone working here forever who's never done a damn thing. Every so often, they go out and get a piece of material, and then that's it. They just kind of sit around at the dock all day. Man, what a hell of a job. Yes, we know our reserve of stone is super low. We are working on that. Let's see, where are we at on our upgrade? This is being upgraded. Demolished or upgraded? Well, I don't know now. You're confusing me with the word demolished and the word upgraded in one thing. I guess you have to destroy that which with you love to get better things? I suppose we'll find out. Rude. Okay, so they took down the old building and we're going to add in the new building. That's the building supplies, right? Are we... Yeah, we're still super short on that because of stone now. We're almost out of our joists, sadly. I love that you just have to jump between all these different items. We have tons of glass. We know that. We've got an okay stash of bricks. I lost my cool little window here. We're still super short on logs. Okay. We'll have to mess around with some of the balancing, but we are getting a lot more laborers in, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and do increase the amount of people working in a few jobs here. In fact, I think I'm going to keep the hardwood foresters at 2, and we'll have 4 out of 4 on the forester lodge. So we're getting more logs into the party. Where are we at on lumber, by the way? Do we have too much lumber? We absolutely have too much lumber. Great. Let's go ahead and cut this down to, I don't know, no one right now? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of lumber being wasted. In fact, honestly, I don't know. Let's do this instead. Let's put this at 0. Yeah, let's go to 3-3. That would force everyone to work over here at the firewood, right? Yeah, alright. We'll set it to that. We have tons and tons and tons of lumber. I had no idea we even had that much lumber in the world. So, let's use some of that lumber. 6 glass, 24 lumber, 11 iron. Are we doing better on iron now that we discovered how to smelt it down? There's 12 sitting here. And it'd be nicer if there was a little bit more all ready to go. City blacksmith, why are you working? You shouldn't really be working on anything. Does anyone else use iron? I don't think so, but I don't quite recall. Hey, our chapel's getting a pretty decent supply of people. Supply? Yeah, sure, why not? But supply of people. Sounds good. Well, let's drop a few more houses down over here. How's these go? Oh, these aren't even close to getting done yet. Alright, maybe not. Hey, Homewares, what are you doing on Homewares, guys? No, let's go back to normal Homeware. Sorry, let's run out the pewterware. Or no, we got tons of pewterware. Let's go back to furniture and pottery for a bit. We need to get more Homeware supplies. Those have all been used up that have been available. Alright, that sounds good. Alright, well, I think this is about where we want to be for this episode. Hey, another market. I appreciate you guys joining me for another episode of Banished. Thank you so much for visiting New Tynemouth with me in year 19. Hopefully next time around, I'll skip ahead a little bit. We'll see if we've got more people, more workers, less death. Hey, we were up to 60 or 72. We were at like 67 or 68 when we started. So we are slowly but surely keeping up with the deaths, keeping up with the Joneses and their death. So, thank you all so much for joining me. Until next time, take care.